Thursday, September 4th. I'm Adam Walsh, and this is The Signal. Today on the show, we're talking about taking the road to recovery on a motorcycle. We've got folks here from Ride for Recovery N.L. Full studio. Big chat for today. Sit tight. Here we go. And while this conversation will be about recovery and motorcycles, if you are in recovery and you want to talk to us about what you do, something that you've found or a group or anything else, get in touch with us. The number is 709-722-7111, 1-800-563-8255. Text us, 709-327-8206, the signal at cbc.ca. Joel, I'll start with you. Joel Thomas Hynes is welcome back to the studio. Thank you for coming on. How
are you, Adam? Nice to be here.
So tell us about the group, and because you had the launch a couple weeks ago. Tell us about it.
We had our big Ride for Recovery on August 23rd, so that was our first annual, and we've been calling it our first annual because this was the inaugural, and we wanted to continue next year, and we wanted to grow. We left the parking lot, 20-plus bikes showed up with a number of passengers, and we left the parking lot of the Recovery Center, and we drove on up the Southern Shore, went up as far as the Ferryland Downs, and I'm from up that way, and I got on the road to recovery up that way many years ago, and we ended up back at the Triangle Social Center in St. John's, who opened their doors and hosted our after party, and we had a big old time. It's a great day on the road too.
And this is across the country, this stuff's going on, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So when I did a search and I was trying to lock down the name and the Facebook page, Ride for Recovery, and then I found out there are other Ride for Recoveries across the country, but we're not affiliated.
No. Yeah.
So we're officially the Ride for Recovery N.L.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And why is it, before I get to the other guests here, why was it so important for you to start this and to think, when you're thinking about it and thinking, you know what, this would be something?
Excuse me. Well, I do a lot of riding.
Yeah.
With a lot of people who are in recovery.
Yeah.
For starters, but also the message that you hear out there a lot these days, the scourge of fentanyl, the tainted drug supply, overdoses, lack of resources, all this stuff seems to dominate the word recovery. It very rarely comes up, and we wanted to start an event that was more or less an awareness campaign to celebrate just the very existence of a recovery community that is alive, thriving, doing well, lots of fellowship, people who are on the other side of all that lifestyle, who are out doing their thing, right?
Yeah, I think in the blurb, in some of the writing on it, it's the vibrant community that is out there.
Yeah.
Right, and I think for folks as you listen, you'll hear some of the vibrancy of the community here today. Also with us here in the studio, we've got Leslie Smith, Ken Pittman, and Vanessa Clancey. Leslie, we'll start with you. When did you tell us how you got involved and your thoughts around it?
Got involved with recovery or got involved with motorcycle riding?
We'll parse it out. Let's go with the group. When did you decide to get involved with the group? And then we can talk a bit about motorcycle riding, a bit about recovery, and a bit about yourself.
Well, I first, found my way into recovery in 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my first realization that there was a problem, and I wanted help.
Yeah. Were you already, 2022 happens, and are you already involved with motorcycle riding at the time, or do you get involved later? Where does this come into the picture?
No, never even thought about riding motorcycles.
Yeah.
Actually, I was really fearful of them. I used to see motorcycles riding down the road, and I'd be, no way, that's a crash waiting to happen. But my husband got into riding motorcycles probably, I don't know, 5-6 years into our marriage. He was gone a fair bit on his bike, and when he came back, he always seemed refreshed. He had this like peaceful look about him. But he always used to say, Leslie, you should get your motorcycle license. Come with me. I was like, nope, got no interest, no way. But I guess as my recovery progressed, I became a little less fearful.
Yeah.
And I wanted to try new things. So I agreed to getting my motorcycle license. Well, doing the course at least. And my son at the time, he also wanted to get his motorcycle license. So we both did the course together.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. So it was a weekend course. We did it with...
Luke came on the ride, too.
He did, yeah. My son came on the ride. Yeah, so we both did the motorcycle course together, and I got my certificate, did my... I did my road test, got my license the following season, and then myself and my husband did a huge trip to PEI, took our motorcycles and went over there and did the whole Cavendish Music Festival. And I really got to say, like, I enjoy it so much. The fear, well, I shouldn't say the fear is gone for me because there's been 2 motorcycle accidents in my household within the past couple of years, but somewhat of the fear is gone, for sure.
Was the word you used, refreshed, that you saw for your husband after it? Is that a word, like, do you feel that now when you go out?
Absolutely.
Right,
Oh my
refreshed.
God, your mind is just cleared. You know, you don't think about much other than the ride when you're on your motorcycle. You know, it's just you and the open road ahead.
Ken Pittman, what about yourself? Tell us about yourself. Who are you?
Who am I? you asked me that question, or I let them when she called me. You were saying talk about bikes or recovery first. I first drove a bike, I think I was 16, 17 years old, so we're talking almost 50 years ago.
Okay.
And I rode them on and off through the years, and then about, I don't know, probably 18, 20 years ago, I got back into it a little bit. And then as issues arose, or I guess grew for me in addiction or whatever, I lost sight of a lot of things that I enjoyed. But through recovery, I started riding again. And as Leslie referred to, for me, when I rode, or myself and my wife rode together, it was usually in the evening time when the kids were straightened away, and it's relaxing. It clears the head. It's not like in a car with the radio blaring, or it's just both of us talking over our shoulder to each other, you know, and seeing things as we're riding and enjoying it. And even for myself, then that peace of just, there's nothing in my head. It's peace.
Where's the best part of the province to ride, in your opinion?
I love this province. I'm an outdoor person, and this island is... so to ride the bike, myself and Joel had a trip across the island. It was the longest ride I've ever done. We went out there to meet my son, who was picking up a bike. And that was a great ride. Miserable weather, but it was a great ride. It was cold and it was wet. But just driving across the province, even that, you know, the fellowship with a friend, and we'd stop, grab a coffee, a bite to eat. We'd have a little chat, and I think that's where the Ride for Recovery first came up. Joe said, what do you think of this idea? And I just thought it great right from the beginning, you know, to bring awareness to recovery. Back to, like I said, I love this island. I can picture so much in my head.
Yeah.
We visited Fogo Island recently, myself and my wife and 2 other couples, and that's what we talked about. I said, what a great little island to have the motorcycle on for getting around, you know. So I look forward to next season, because I broke my leg the Tuesday before the ride, and couldn't ride the bike, and that's the first thing that come to my mind. I said, gee, I can't do the ride. But I was still involved there, you know. It was a great feeling. I was going to follow the ride, I thought that'd probably torment me more than anything. But I was back at the Triangle Centre, and the riders were there when I got there, and it was a great afternoon. Still, that fellowship that comes with it,
Vanessa, what about yourself? Vanessa Clancey.
I've always been around bikes. My dad had a bike when I was very young, and I can remember sitting in front of him on the bike. So it's been.
Move into the microphone. Sorry
okay.
about that. Yeah, there you go. Just
Yeah,
move it a little bit
better?
more. There's that voice. There we go.
Okay. So I've always been around bikes. I got in recovery in 2018, and of course, we kind of take a look at what we enjoy and what can help us, and trying to find ourselves again. And it was something I've always wanted to do. So a couple of years into my recovery, I decided to do the course. And of course, me being me, I had the bike bop before I did the course. Riding really takes me out of my head. It stops the noise. It's just so peaceful because, like Leslie said, it's just you and the road. And everybody else, of course, but it has been the most therapeutic thing I've done for myself. I really enjoy just getting out and being with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did that realization happen? Like, was it? We're talking like, is it like the first kind of ride once you're up and qualified and out, or was it the week early on, or did it take a couple?
No, I love the course.
Okay, right on the course.
Right, even when I did the course, one of the guys hauled me aside. He said, "Did you ever ride before?" And I was like, "No, a couple of dirt bikes over the years, going to a cabin, but that was it." And it just feels natural. It really just feels like it's natural to me. It's something it feels like I've always done, but I haven't, And learning, and somebody said it to me, and I really took a look at it. It makes me trust myself. You're in a car, you kind of, you're protected. On a bike, you're not. So you have to be more aware of everything that's going around you. And I think life is like that in general, too.
Yeah.
And what's good for you and what's bad. So it's kind of full circle, with looking at it.
Yeah, so some people, there's some people who are a little bit intimidated or scared around it. For you, there's the safety element around it.
Yeah, you have to be very aware of your surroundings when you're on the bike. So, yeah.
Joel, what about yourself? Right, you're hearing from folks in your group. I know. They're your friends, people you're out riding with. But what is being said here speaks to you and your experience?
In terms of riding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been riding for a long time, and it's just always been that thing that's given me a lot of freedom. And it was to piggyback on what Vanessa was saying. When you are riding, like if you come here in your car and you got to go to CBC Studios, and you show up in your car and you've been blanked out the whole ride, and suddenly you're there and you arrive. Everybody has that experience in a vehicle like that, but a motorcycle forces you to be very present. So
Right.
people don't really realize what a meditative act it is, because it forces you to be right in the moment. And it's not like you're in a vehicle and everything is happening out there beyond the windshield. You're in it.
You're connected to it.
I remember I met a moose. I can't remember his name. No, I met a moose on the road out in, because I have a house out in Trinity, right?
Yep.
Trinity South. And just outside Hants Harbor, I met a moose on a motorcycle years ago. And you talk about a different experience when you're out there on the road and you can smell that moose. And I had to shut the bike off, shut the light off, and he was right up in my face, right? And so there's a whole thing about if you're a sensible rider, there's no room for ego on the motorcycle. There's no room for road rage. Listen, if you're out there, I ride a big bike, a big, meaty, heavy bike, and if I hit a smart car in that bike, I'm the one going down.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. So it's very dangerous. You have to constantly think defensively. You're trained, if you've done proper safety training, you're trained to be on the road as if you're invisible. Ride as if nobody can see you, and don't ever take a right of way if you're not sure of it. Don't ever take a break in traffic if you're not sure of it. You got to constantly be on defense while you're having fun.
Yeah.
While you're experiencing that sense of freedom. And the thing to what Ken was saying about Newfoundland, like I've driven in big cities. You drive in Toronto, man, you're a good half hour, 45 minutes getting up in third gear, right? We're in Newfoundland. Everybody thinks we don't have much of a riding season, but I get out in March and I ride till November. This year I was riding in January, and within 5 minutes you're on the open road everywhere you go here. So it's actually a really special place to ride, and I think Newfoundland riders are a little bit tougher than the boys in California, right? We bring our rain gear and... Yeah, gotta be.
Yeah.
You gotta
Heated
be
jackets.
tough. Heated jackets.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
We've got you're listening to The Signal. Today on the show, we're talking about recovery and motorcycle riding, and it's folks from Ride for Recovery N.L. here. If as you listen to the show, if you're in recovery, and if it doesn't have to be motorbike ride, it can be, but also if there's something, an activity that you do that has helped you with recovery, give us a call, 709-722-7111. 1-800-563-8255. Text us, 709-327-8206, thesignal@cbc.ca. And I say that because we've got Daryl Chislett on the line in Kilbride. How are you doing?
Good. And there's a bit of a saying in the motorcycle world, when your bike is broken, you fix it. But when you're broken, your bike can fix you.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm working on my bike today, and we had full intentions on going for this Ride for Recovery there last weekend, or the weekend before, but just a message for the boys putting it off. You got to check the schedule in the MC world and see. I mean, it conflicted with another major ride down in Bjorn, and we had like 400 bikes on it, right? So you kind of got to pick a weekend when there isn't too much happening that the rest of the MC world is going to.
All right, so for planning for the future, and then that's noted. Any other thoughts on when it comes to whether the ride or what it means to you personally and for folks in recovery? Like, what are your thoughts on just to expand on that first bit that you said there?
Yeah. I mean, well, it's 50 years on two wheels for me, and seen it all, done it all, had friends on the recovery road, and in particular ride with a lot of people that have PTSD and stuff like that. And it helps. The bikes help a lot. I'm not familiar with so much of the addictions, but for other mental problems and issues, biking is the way to go, and I'm sure it'll be the same with the issues these people are discussing. But I just wanted to make that quick comment for next year. Try and schedule your rides where they're not conflicting with some other stuff.
Expand the tent. Well, Daryl, thank you for the call and the comment, and we'll keep the conversation going. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, and well, go back to the old Zen and the motorcycle art of maintenance thing. When you're in a car, you're looking at the picture. When you're on a bike, you're in the picture.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay, carry on. Cheers.
All right, Daryl there in Kilbride. Yeah, and we talked before.
Can I just address that comment?
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Daryl, for calling in. So when we were laying this out and trying to figure out how it was all going to work, we had no idea how it was all going to work. Had no idea if at some point if I'd be the only one riding, right? Or if we'd have 6 or 7 riders, we did not know. And then we worked around people's schedules who we really wanted on the ride.
Yeah.
So it was going to be earlier in August. Then it was going to be August 16th. And there was a fellow comrade in recovery who was getting married on that day. So then we just went with August 23rd. And this is about recovery, and it's about that community. And we to be honest with you, we had 20-plus bikes. And that was like a big learning curve for a lot of us, the way we had to manage that ride. And if we had all the Smugglers Cove riders show up for that day, it just would have become something else at the time. And I think the message would have kind of got a bit diluted. And we would not have been able to accommodate the riders when we showed up at the after party, right? Because the place where the Triangle Social Center, it was blocked to the rafters with family members and other curious people, and right. So we're kind of happy it landed on the 23rd, And we're definitely going to look next year, because now we have a whole year to plan the next one, right? So,
And that's the process for something new, right? Like you said, you guys are out riding, you're having a chat. What do you think about this idea? It might just be me. It might be two of us. And then you got 20,
Yeah.
and the focus is recovery. But now you're also hearing from the riding community. There's others out there, right, who want to be part of it. So then, like you said, you got a year.
Yeah.
How big do we want it? Where does it land? And how is it most helpful for that underlying point of folks in recovery? What does the peer-to-peer support mean for all of you with this?
Huge.
Yeah.
We can't do it alone.
Yeah.
We can't do it alone, you know, and it is a community, definitely. Yeah, I really learned that as strong as what I am and as much as I stand on my own, this is not something that you can do on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so everyone, and the little bit I know on it, right? Everyone you need a support network, right, in recovery. And then, so when I look at, so that can be your family, friends, and then it's also a community like this, right? Part of that support network of sharing. So everyone has a different story, but we know we can relate to each other because of it.
Yeah, fellowship is huge.
Yeah.
You know, without the fellowship and the riding, that was big. Like in my recovery journey, it's just fellowship was so important to me, and that wasn't only in the rooms. It was afterwards. It was socialising, you know, and bike was a huge part of it. That there was other people riding bikes and were feeling the same way, and you know, that it's when we have our stop then too, and we get to have a little chat, and you're talking about the road, and even the part that Joe referred to about being present. Yeah. That word is so important to me, you know, since it being in recovery. I'm present today.
Yeah.
You know, with my family, with my friends, with work, with everything. And on a bike, especially, Joe reminded me of the moose story a month ago. One jumped up in front of me just before the airport coming from Portugal Cove, and it was just because I was present. Like, I mean, jumped up like 15 feet. I didn't even have time to brake. All I did was clutch in, started braking, but revved it loud, and the boots turned around right as quick as that. But again, if you're not present, you know, things can happen quickly.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, perks of a lab bike, eh?
Yeah.
For moose. Yeah.
It's such an interesting point on being. So you've got this activity that you love, and then you've got comrades out with you riding. But as you've all been saying, as it focuses you on being hyper present in the moment because of safety and what it means to be on a bike, and then you think of the other parts of your life, of the importance of being present with family, work, friends, or what. Like it's such it paints a big picture for me, anyways, for how I'm thinking about it and what it can mean for recovery.
You know, it can only go so far, though, with your friends and your family.
Yeah.
Unless they've actually been through that experience, it's hard to get that kind of, I don't know, that support that you need, that connection. So within the community, you get that because somebody else has guaranteed been through at least something that you've been through, and they get it. And like they can talk about their experiences, their strength, their hope. And, you know, that's what pushes me to continue on.
And knowing, I guess, you're not isolated. You're not alone. You're far from alone, because there's so many other folks who know what the bits of what you've been through. Maybe a lot of it, or maybe just one part of it, but still, that really can be so helpful, like you're saying.
Yeah, definitely not alone anymore.
That's amazing. Let's go to. We've got someone else on the phones here. Now, Leanne Brinston is on the line, social worker at the Recovery Center, specializing in counseling. Hi, Leanne. How are you?
Hi, Adam. Thank you for having me. I recognize some beautiful voices on the line here for Joel and Vanessa and many others.
Hi, Leanne.
Hey, Leanne.
Hi.
Hi,
Really nice to hear your voices. So, yeah, I'm here at the Recovery Center. We are the provincial withdrawal management center, which is a detox center, and we are medically managed, which looks different from years ago. We used to be kind of more of a social detox. You would just ring the doorbell and come in. But now we're using a medical model, which is very important because we're treating individuals with medications through alcohol use disorder, which is very important. I'm not an expert in the medical world. I'm a social worker. I don't have that nursing background, but I've been here at the Recovery Center for 24 years. I love my job. I'm not going anywhere. And I've seen a lot of changes, and the medical model is very important to treating certain substance use disorders these days. So it's a blessing to have that. I was
24
asked
years.
to
That's a long time.
Yeah, it is a long time. I don't even know how to look for a job, Adam, in N.L. Health right now. I'm not going anywhere. I love my job. I feel so blessed to be a part of the Recovery Center and the recovery community. And just to see recovery and what that looks like is a blessing. And I think highlighting recovery and giving people hope that recovery is possible. I run a seniors group for recovery. We do a gardening group here. We run a spiritual group. We do a cooking group. We also consider the Recovery Center a recovery family. And, I help people get connected to what we call recovery communities. And, I know a lot of people who do really well are connected to self-help communities like AA, NA, Gamblers Anonymous, GA. There is a lot available in Newfoundland, in St. John's, in surrounding areas if people are willing to look for that help.
Talk to me about the importance of connection. We've been talking about it here today, right? Folks out riding motorcycles together, connecting with each other, having that the peer-to-peer support, that lived experience connection. But you also mentioned like cooking and a few other things there. And all these things I'm picturing people together. What's the importance of connection when it comes to recovery?
So one thing that I have seen over the years, and we know, is that when a substance use or a gambling disease is active and somebody's gambling or using a substance, they're very, very, very disconnected. They are very isolated. They have no connection to community, no connection to family. They are often using alone, gambling alone. Everything is totally isolated. What we know about recovery is one way for people to become a part of a very healthy recovery is to be connected. So oftentimes we say substance use and gambling equals a disconnect, but recovery equals a connection. So I think a healthy recovery for people looks like a connection to a community. When I got asked to be a part of the Ride for Recovery, I was very, very blessed and honored to be a part of that. Adam, I walked out into the parking lot, and anyone who knows me and some people on the line here will know I'm very emotional. I started to cry when I seen people. I hadn't seen people in years. And listening to this recovery community of people who ride motorcycles, somebody actually said to me, Leanne, we don't have time to drink anymore or use drugs because we're putting all of our time and money into our bikes now. and I heard a gentleman just call in and say that. So, that was the first time I had been a part of this Ride for Recovery, and it was the first annual. But to see the similarities in a Ride for Recovery and the recovery community, how they've come together. Recovery is about a lifestyle change of behaviors. It's a lifestyle change of how to listen. And the biggest part of recovery is I need to feel feelings. And I need to feel what it's like to live without a substance and gambling. And this recovery community of people who ride motorcycles are doing exactly that when they ride bikes. They're connected to each other. They ride, they communicate, they listen to each other. They've given direction to each other. They share stories with each other. And I was able to reflect on that after the Ride for Recovery and think, what are the similarities in what I do here at the Recovery Center versus what the recovery Ride for Recovery does? Very, very similar.
Folks, anything for Leanne before we let her go?
I met Leanne first time ever was at the after party, as Joe calls it. But I've heard so much about Leanne from friends and close friends. Yeah. And it was a pleasure, absolute pleasure to meet her. And she spoke, which was, I got to say, it was just a great awareness. And it was a pleasure, like I say, to meet Leanne. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Leanne.
Thanks, Leanne.
Yes, thank you so
I'll
much.
hope to be a part of. I'll hope to be a part of the second one next year. I'll be there with bells on, and
get
a
you on
lot
a
of my
bike.
staff. Yeah, and I need a bike, and I got to get a bike. And a
No,
lot of my
it's,
staff said the awareness from this has been wonderful. The Ride for Recovery is a wonderful thing. Thank you to all the people who are putting this together, have put this together. Continue this work. Recovery is possible, and recovery is out there. And I want people to know that that's the most important message, is that if you have the courage to call us or connect with the recovery community, we really can help you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Leanne, thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Leanne Brinston there. Any thoughts on what Leanne was saying?
No, just remember, I checked into the recovery center probably when I was 20, so before she was even working there, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know at that time where to go, what to do, what was going on with me, what kind of trouble I was in. And I found a safe haven down there, you know, and I can't say I went out and lived all clean and sober from there on in, but it definitely planted a seed in my very young mind, and it gave me a little bit of hope to know that I didn't have to live the way I was living, even though it took me a long time to get to where I am now. So that place is just a very, very important stopover, and it's not gonna cure you. It's not like you go in there and you're all better.
Just boom,
It's
no.
a long road, but you know, especially for say older individuals who are in the throes of alcoholism and stuff like that, chances are you at a certain age you can't detox medically alone. You will die.
Yeah.
So that place has saved lives, literally saved lives, right? So it's out there.
And I think, I mean, your point around recovery and addictions, the fact that it's not a straight line, and have you talking about that is also an important point for people to understand, right? Because it's like, I know we're talking about finding community and everything else, and yeah, there can be setbacks, but then it's the steps forward, like you were saying, Joel, like from when you were a young person, going in there first to who you are now. There's been a lot of road in between,
Yeah.
and that's a whole journey in itself,
Yeah.
right? To paint the picture of the supports that are needed in the peer-to-peer support conversations.
Absolutely.
Anyone else on what Leanne was saying, or to pick up on what Joel was saying?
I just got a funny story. Well, it's not really
Go
funny.
for it. Funny to not really.
We'll
I
hear
like the
Vanessa's
range.
after.
But
I've been waiting on that. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Leanne had come up to me the day of the ride, and she said, "You know, I want to ride, but like, what is it like on gravel?" And I was like, "You're right. It's scary, right? It's you know, some fear there." I was like, "But you know what? It's pretty easy going. When you got a little bit of experience and you take your time, you get through it." And I've dropped my bike like, I don't know, 12 times. Not really. Maybe half dozen times. But the thing is, you pick it back up and you get back on it. Yeah, it's a little bit of a blow to your ego and your but you pick it back up, you get back on, and recovery is very similar to that. You know, it's progress, not perfection. So
There seems to be a bit of extra pressure on female riders to not drop their bikes and everything, right? But I've dropped bikes 20 odd times, I'd say, over the years, and in ridiculous situations. I remember dropping a beautiful GS 750, and I dropped it down on Water Street in front of a bunch of girls, and then I kind of struggled to pick it up, and they all just sort of stood around and watched me.
it's embarrassing, right?
Yeah. I pulled up right cool, you know.
Oh yeah.
Dropped my bike.
You're like, hey, there's a crash. Oh.
I pulled up in Greats Cove one time. They had a chip truck,
Yeah.
and I was looking all mean and evil. And I pulled up to the chip truck, and a black lab came over. Everybody was kind of looking at me, pulled up, and then a black lab, dog, ran over to me, cocked up his leg, and pissed on my tire.
No.
It's like, welcome to grade school.
That's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, that dog's on payroll.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I only dropped the bike once.
Once. There you go.
That I remember.
That you were right. Or that you'll admit to, right? Maybe one or other.
Yeah.
one or two
Mostly
other
happens
times.
in parking lots, though. For me.
Part of it, when we talk about recovery, oftentimes when I do shows around recovery, the word stigma comes up. What's your journey been with when we think about stigma that still exists under addictions and recovery, but also folks riding motorcycles have a bit of reputations which are not deserved as like there's a lot of the combining forces around motorcycles on certain stigma and also addictions. Like anyone want to have any thoughts on that?
Well, we're not an MC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think action movies in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s
Ruined a lot of stuff for folks.
Yeah, it's like it's not necessarily that. We're just literally, if you think about this ride, we were just all out riding, looking after each other, and trying to keep each other safe, right? And most of us, I mean, I can't say I ride within the speed limit, but when I'm riding with somebody or if I have a passenger on, I'm very conscious of my surroundings and my safety, and so we're just people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And what's the response been for the group? You talked about, folks want to be part of it, bigger numbers and stuff. What's the conversation been around it so far that you've seen, like on Facebook? Because people on Facebook can say it. We were talking before the show about a certain site of Facebook, part of Facebook. What have folks been kind of saying about it as they've seen it?
I mean, it's been nothing but positive feedback, and I heard from a lot of people who were going on the Smuggler's Cove ride.
Yeah.
And said, hey, the date doesn't line up, maybe you should change your date. And I just wrote them back and I said, well, maybe you guys should change your date because we're on this ride, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys want to become with us.
Yeah.
So, but the feedback has been mostly positive, and like I said, you didn't have to be in recovery to ride with us. So there's lots of people showed up, and there was somebody showed up who was in recovery from childhood PTSD and this sort of thing. So the recovery word is very broad for us.
Yeah, that's a big umbrella, right?
Yeah. And then people who just wanted to ride, people who didn't want to go all the way to Marystown came and rode with us. But we did end up. We made an appearance on Newfoundland Skeets in the Streets.
So I mean, that's pretty big stuff.
That legitimizes us somehow these days, right? And it was like, boys, what's this ride for recovery all about? Sounds like a scam to me. Where's all the money going, right? And so
that is like
that's how he sounded on Facebook.
No, but it is. That is very on point for that.
One thing I did notice too at the after party and even before, but I don't ride a bike.
Yeah.
I don't have a motorcycle. And we welcomed everyone, even if we weren't riding a bike. There was people who wanted to get a shirt or a hoodie, and they wanted to attend it. Everyone was welcome. That's what it was about in the beginning, is just making the awareness of the healthy community that is there in recovery.
So Ken, what does it say to you that you get folks wanting to be part of it, right? Like, so for everyone here, you have someone who's living through and processing PTSD. You have folks in recovery for addictions. The fact that they hear about this group and they're like, I think that'd be nice for me. What does that mean to you?
I'm always welcoming to anyone. If I feel, even out living every hour of the day with public and people, anyone that reaches out to me and knows about my recovery, or if I see them struggling in something that I mention I'm in recovery. And with the ride too, everyone was welcome there.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me. I also give back to what I receive freely, meaning my recovery. So, I mean, I speak at the penitentiary. We put up meetings. The university, if I'm asked to speak somewhere, I usually say yes. That's my way of giving back to the recovery. So anyone who, we said in the beginning, anyone's welcome. You don't have to ride a bike, but, a lot of us had that connection, and for a fun day, except I didn't get to go on the ride.
Yeah, but next year, right,
Next year, yeah.
for the second
Yeah.
annual, you're there because you won't. We'll just have to put you in bubble wrap next year just to make sure you're okay in the lead up to it. Vanessa, Leslie, what about yourselves? And just the fact that this thing is you see it grow, and then you see more people want to be involved with it and to connect. Like, what does that mean to you?
It's amazing because the recovery community is so huge. There's so much that falls in under that word. And it's not only people in recovery; it's the people that have loved ones that are going through it, or they're watching their loved ones not being able to get some recovery. Like it touches so much. And it's such a wide range. I mean, I bet you if you talk to 10 people and asked them, somebody would say, I wish, or I know somebody in recovery,
Who in Newfoundland and Labrador is not touched by this, right? Like, point that unique individual out to me because I don't know if they exist, right? This is something that touches all of us, from lived experience to families, neighbors, you name it, right?
Definitely. And there's such a stigma with being in recovery, and they don't even have to know what you're recovering from. But if you say you're in recovery, is kind of like, a lot of people think we have choices, depending on what recovery road you're taking, and that's not necessarily so. It took me coming in realizing that, I'm wired a different way. I don't know how else to kind of say it, and I thought I was alone. I thought, I guess behaviors or things you do or the choices you make, like, you'd sit in your head and say, well, God, somebody else wouldn't make that decision, but that's not true, so it's great to see because there's so many people affected by this.
Yeah. And, like, again, to that point, right, which we keep hearing about through the show, it's like, I'm not alone. Right, and just to have someone for you to just hear that within the group and how, like, the support that can mean.
Correct. And I think sometimes when you're going through it, I know personally me, I didn't know that there was any other way. Joel talked about it. I didn't know there was another way to live, and of course, being a parent, trying to figure it out on my own because I didn't want people to know what I was going through. Was really hard. But I didn't realize I could go through it. I just thought I had to keep traveling that road, and that is what the recovery is all about. It gives you that wider scope. That there's something different.
So then we got just two people patiently waiting on hold who we will get to. But I just want to ask you this though: the advice for, like, you talk about feeling alone and isolated and then not wanting to talk about it. What would your advice be for someone who's in that situation now for how to break out of that?
Wow. That's a loaded question. Hey.
It's going to be different for every single person, I know. Just
realize that you are not alone. You're not special or unique. I used to think I was. I am, but there's help. There's help for so many avenues of recovery, but you have to really set in your head that this is where you want to go. I know personally, no matter how much anybody wanted it for me, I couldn't do it unless I wanted it myself. But then when I did make that decision, I had to have help, and that's what I found in my recovery community.
Thank you for that answer.
And just to chime in there too, I think for people too, there's a bit of hesitancy to go into that community because people don't want people to know what they went through. But the thing is that they've been through it too. They're there for the exact same reason that you're going. So.
No, those are massively important points. We've got I mentioned two people waiting. Let's go to one of them. Alfred is on the line. Hello.
Yes, good day. Regards to Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance, if you can read it and hopefully understand a little bit of it, there's an excellent book for It's not really about motorcycles, you know.
Yeah.
Even though that's how the book is presented. And in regards to what you're just saying there, just then on the radio, you're never alone. Don't matter how alone you are physically, you're never alone. And regards to the motorcycle community, I've been on a bike ever since the 60s, and of many kinds. And the biking community, even though when you're young or a little bit crazy sometimes on a bike, safety is so important, because one mistake on a bike, and that's your last, probably, if there's a bad mistake. And people who ride realize that. And for that reason, they're in the moment all the time. And of course, that's enlightening to anyone if you can get that way. I always said that people should learn how to ride motorcycle before they get their car license. That really gives them a different perspective of being on the road. And I'm in a bad spot for phone service, so that was a truck just going by.
Yeah, no, we could hear that there, Alfred. Yeah, as long as you're safe, though, right?
Yeah, I'm up in a tree on the side of the road trying to keep a signal here.
Yeah, well,
but actually, on this road, this very road that I'm on, this is the road that goes through Cormac that goes into Big Falls. And you can go on in past Big Falls up to a place on the upper Humber River called the Dancing Point. And there's some cabins up there, and people use it for salmon fishing and hunting and that. And I was in there with friends. They were moose hunting in there one fall about 15, 20 years ago. And I left to come out. I wasn't hunting, and I was on a little small dirt bike, about a 250. And I had to come out to get to Big Falls and then come out the road on some woods roads. And I never left till almost dark. I was wanting to not leave, but I had to leave. So I drove out, and by the time I got out onto the road in past Big Falls, say on the eastern side of Big Falls, it was almost dark. So when I got there, they got chip pavement put on the road in there from when they done some milling and that. And I said, I'm going to make up a bit of time. Now it was dark. There was no traffic on the road. So I got the bike going pretty fast, and I got out almost to Little Falls.
Yeah, and then what happened?
And I was
And we only have a couple of minutes left, so you keep it brief. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. It looked like a big bag of garbage, white bag of garbage on the road.
Yeah.
So I started gearing down right away, and the bag of garbage got up. And this was a caribou. And, of course, he started running right for the light. And he was running full board to the light, but I was only on this little dirt bike. She could stop, almost on a dime, so I had her pretty well stopped when he was getting up close to me. And the only thing I could do, the only thing I thought of was bawl out at him. So I yelled out to him at him as loud as I could.
Yeah.
And he just turned and darted down around and went around me and gone. So I turned the bike around to see when he went behind me, if he was still on the road. No sign of him. He was disappeared and gone in through the woods in a matter of 10 seconds, I guess. Yeah.
Well, Alfred, go ahead. Yeah.
The motorcycle community out there are the type of people, most of them, especially like the older riders and that, people that have rode. They're people that you can reach out to, because a lot of them have been down that road.
Yeah.
They know. Yeah.
Alfred, thank you so much for the call, from talking about Zen to You're Not Alone, and to the story about the caribou and everything else. It's much, much appreciated. Before we go back to the folks here in studio, Mr. Richard Whitaker, Dick, is on the line. I want to give a shout out to someone from what I hear. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, I've been on the road quite a lot of time, and the motorcycle riders, by and large, have been very, very responsible. It's all right to be behind them, much more responsible than a lot of the car drivers, I can tell you. And I understand about the freedom and so forth that a motorcycle gives you. As you just heard from that gentleman, you can go more or less where you like and so on. And I understand exactly what your guests are talking about. it's a feeling that you can't get, in a car or something like that. So you're doing good work, and obviously encouraging people is a good thing.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your call.
Right up. Bye-bye.
Folks, Dick Whitaker, Portugal Cove, St. Philip. So, yeah, we've got from Alfred phoning in the tree where he to get good reception, which is a whole other episode of The Signal that we'll have to do again soon. Any thoughts on what folks are saying there from Alfred to Mr. Whitaker?
Zen and the Art of Motorcycle
Yeah.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, and correct me if I'm wrong, a 1968 BMW 650 with his son on the back.
Okay.
So if anybody's interested in the book, it's a meditative memoir about a cross America trek that came out, and it was this huge big book. I think it came out in 71 or so.
Okay.
It's more or less about fathers and sons and the changing American values at the time. The boy who was on the back of that bike was killed in a bar fight in San Francisco probably 20 years ago. A little fact check if anybody,
Sure.
if there's fans of the book, anybody's interested, right? So very interesting story to track.
Yeah.
Classic memoir. Very little to do with motorcycles, but a lot to do with motorcycle maintenance.
And maybe in life.
It talks about the blue highways. Blue highways on the old maps are back roads because everything's been replaced by, Trans-Canada, Veterans Highway, all that. There used to be a blue way to get through all these communities. And now you just blow past Carbonear. But you might stop at Walmart and Dominion and Canadian Tire while you're blowing past, and you don't go down into the town anymore.
Actually see them.
Right? All the mom and pop shops are sucked up by the big corporations, and so the riding has changed. Because of so-called progress.
As we wind down, we've got 2 minutes left. Any final thoughts from folks? We're looking. I'm not. You're planning next year. The second annual is going to come next summer. TBD for the deets on that.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts from today?
I don't want to dominate this either, and I said I wouldn't. But
You haven't been. Everyone's been talking. It's been great.
We have 108 followers on our Facebook page, Ride for Recovery N.L., and we'd love to have 109, so go check it out. And then I just wanted to mention the logo designed graciously and free by Duncan Major, and we have that swag available, and it's not, the Ride for Recovery doesn't bring in any profit, but you can order this swag if you go to rivalrecovery.ca.
Rival Recovery Swag.
rivalrecoveryswag.ca. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been checking out the Facebook group, so you'll probably get a signal bump. You might get the 109 any second now, Joel. So we'll see. Ride for Recovery N.L. Isn't there something? Weren't we supposed to say something else on the show today? Wasn't some kind of a safety-oriented discussion point or something? What was the joke?
Oh yeah. Vanessa had a very racy joke that I don't think she's joking.
I always said it was. I can't believe you guys did this to me, but it has been the best and safest thing I've put between my legs.
And on that note, everyone, the Signal is 5 days a week, 12:05 to 1 p.m. on the island, half an hour earlier in most of Labrador. Thank you so much for coming in. Thanks for the joke. Thank you for talking. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks,
So
Adam.
much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. That is it for the show today. If you've got thoughts on it, thesignal@cbc.ca. Tomorrow we're taking a time out from the news headlines, and we do this the first Friday of every month typically. It's Trivia Day on the show. We got some books to give away. Ted Blades will be my guest tomorrow for the hour. And like I said, it's just a way to step away from everything serious and have a little bit of foolish fun on the air. So don't miss the show, and thanks for listening, and have a great day, folks. Cheers.